Good morning. It is Friday, May the 6th. I'm Shane Seeley, and this is the CBC Morning Report. Recently, I've been getting scores of calls about an interview that people think I did with Barbadian megastar and national hero Rihanna while I was host on Mornin Barbados. As much as I would like that, it did not happen. Now, the story allegedly reported by one of the local online news sources, which is also not the case, let me just say that, speaks to the now billionaire telling me about her involvement in the cryptocurrency market. Well, long story short, it's fake news. But for those of you who have clicked that link, some of you have sent it to me as well, you could have opened the door to a cyber attack. Now, to give me some more details about this threat, how could it affect you, you'll find out about that as well from Steve Fung, our tech expert, spending some time with me here on the Morning Report. Steve, good to have you on this morning.
Good morning.
Talk to us about this threat. How does it work? A lot of people, as I said, have been sending this link to me, asking me if this story is real. Obviously, they would have clicked the link. What does that open the door to? What is that the gateway to?
All right, so first thing first, this link or links of this nature are basically social engineering attacks. Basically, all hacks that occur on phones, computers, or even data breaches, credit cards being stolen, or through social engineering attacks. This particular type of attack is called phishing, where you take something popular, a news story, or it doesn't have to be real news. You could use a celebrity. There's one with the Prime Minister actually using her name and her image. There's one with Elon Musk as well. So I guess congratulations, Shane, you're up there with Elon and Mia. They use their images and to lure people into clicking these links. And then once persons click these links, they either are lured into signing up for programs, of which then their information is stolen, or sometimes the link itself contains a payload that can infect the person's computer and steal their information.
What, from your analysis, is the main goal of hackers as they try to get the information? What are they trying to do, and how dangerous can it be for that person who clicks the link? What can they lose?
Well, essentially, data harvesting used to be the initial goal, where persons will look to steal identities, your email password, your Facebook password, your online banking. More recently, they've been searching for persons who may have access to cryptocurrencies. So essentially, any important information, any personal information you store on your computer, your ID card number, which is akin to a social security number, they would try to take advantage of and use to steal your money, steal your lives, take out loans in your name, mess up your reputation. And what tends to happen, a lot of these people may use your stolen account to interact with other people to then lure them into the same type of traps that they have.
How do you avoid this situation? What can people do to protect themselves from these hackers?
Well, initially, 99.9% of hacks, like I said, are social engineering, which means it requires consent. A person cannot access or even infect your computer or phone unless you decide to click a link or download a file. So it's very simple as looking at the link structure. In the case of the link that is being sent around with the false Mornin Barbados report and Rihanna, you will observe that the link structure has barbadostoday.bb in it, but it isn't barbadostoday.bb.com. It is, let's say, a random website.com/barbadostoday.bb and then the news article. Essentially, if the news source is from Barbados Today, it will be barbadostoday.com or CNN.com, not johnbrown.com/CNN, if you understand. So link structures are important. Also, people tend to get lulled by free giveaways. There was the one with KFC. They usually try to mask them behind giveaways. It's usually best to get your information from credible sources. If someone sends you a news article, usually there is a caption pop-up in WhatsApp. I personally just Google it myself to see if a credible news source is carrying the same information. If not, there's not a good chance I'm going to click that link and risk infecting myself with malware or spyware or even an attempted phishing attack.
We've been hearing more about these cyber attacks here in Barbados. Even some members of the media, their emails have been hacked. How serious is the situation here, as far as you understand, Steve?
Well, I know of there are certain breaches in the banks currently where persons' debit and credit cards have been accessed via these types of attacks. Which I failed to mention just now, at least for the aspect of your online banking, for your social media accounts, there's something called two-factor authentication, which regardless of if the person steals your information, you usually have 2FA assigned to your telephone, which means that they would need to have your phone as well as your password to access your account. What happens if you try to log in, it sends a code to your phone. So absent your phone, the perpetrator will not be able to access your information. But you got to remember NASA, Lockheed Martin, the Pentagon, all of them have fallen victim to these type of hacks. The weakest point in any security network is the individual or humans. So it's easier to hack a person than it is to hack the Pentagon, the person that works there, and then use that person to then access. So it is very dangerous, and it can compromise a lot of people and a lot of businesses. So taking cybersecurity very seriously is, and training for individuals how to avoid these type of attacks is a very necessary element.
Uh, can you give our viewers a three-step method to ensure that they can better protect themselves against cyber attacks?
All right. The first thing I usually do, the Facebook hijacking and Instagram hijacking is a common one. If I receive a message from someone and their speech patterns are irregular or they ask me weird questions and they just drop a link, I usually ask them something that I know personally that only they would know to verify their identity. Or I just pick up the phone, give them a call and say, hey, did you just send me this link? Right? To verify I'm not being hoodwinked or bamboozled by a hacker. Number two, the two-factor authentication. Always check your social media accounts, your website accounts, your online banking to see if they have this option, and if they do, take full advantage of it. Also, if they do have it, use the option for your mobile phone and not the option for your email. Because if your email is on the same device as the compromised machines, it allows them to access it easily. And thirdly, I can say just be vigilant. Just pay attention to what is being sent to you. They use a lot of shock, like outrageous news articles about events that may have happened. Rihanna fell down a flight of stairs, or win $1 million, or get something free. They usually try to capture your attention. Usually, sometimes when you see these things, it's best to Google and see if this offer is real, or sometimes things being told you may be too good to be true, and to avoid them if you can.
As much as you can, check on Google, and please don't let the first thing that you do is click that link. Thank you so much, Steve. I'm sure that you've helped so many people who have been calling me and who are still receiving this link across the board. Thank you for your time. You stay safe until the next time we chat, because I'm sure that will be very, very soon.
All right, my brother.
Yes, take care. Steve Fong is a tech expert spending some time with me here on the Morning Report talking about this fake news that has been floating around with a story with myself and Rihanna. It didn't happen. Up next, we'll take a break, but when we come back, we'll be looking at the worldwide death toll from COVID-19. What is it actually? Well, you'll find out right here on the Morning Report, and we have the latest coming out of Russia. In some new statistics, we're hearing that nearly 3 times as many people have died as a result of COVID-19 worldwide, as official data indicates. The new figures are according to a new World Health Organization report that offers the most comprehensive look yet at the true global toll of the pandemic. Let's hear more in this report.
Almost 15 million people died, directly or indirectly, from the virus between 2020 and 2021. This includes what's known as excess deaths. That means fatalities above what would normally be expected in an area before the pandemic struck, linked also to the pressure COVID-19 caused on healthcare systems and society. Most of the excess deaths, 84%, were concentrated in Southeast Asia, Europe and the Americas. Well, Heidi Jo Castro joins us now live from Washington, D.C. Heidi, it seems like a staggering number, 15 million. Are analysts surprised by that?
Kim, it is a staggering toll, and the fact that it is nearly 3 times that of the reported number of deaths coming from governments, indeed, that is catching many people off guard. We're seeing much of this discrepancy falling from middle-income countries. In all, there are some 9.5 million deaths attributed to COVID or linked to COVID that are simply have not been reported officially. We're seeing in places like Egypt, according to the WHO, the number of deaths attributed to COVID 12 times higher than what was reported. In Pakistan, 8 times higher, and in India, nearly 10 times as high. And in fact, there in India is where we've gotten some pushback already against this report coming from the Minister of Health of India, saying that the methodology the WHO used in having statistical models and home surveys not applying quite well to India, and questioning just the accuracy of this report. But again, the WHO being transparent and saying that this is an estimate, there's a range, but coming out at very close to 15 million deaths attributed to COVID.
What's the situation then in the US now, which I believe had the largest number of confirmed deaths caused by COVID-19? How has the healthcare system managed?
Right, it is the largest by a large margin, and right now in the U.S. We're approaching 1 million deaths attributed to COVID at any moment. That threshold expected to be crossed, which is a devastating number that few would have thought was even imaginable at the beginning of this pandemic. Even this said, the death rate, though, in the U.S. has fallen dramatically, even though still today more than 300 deaths a day are being reported in the country as more and more places continue to open up, mask mandates being overturned, though there are some people now rethinking that as more subvariants of Omicron are still infecting people across the country.
Back here in Barbados now, another elderly woman has lost the battle with COVID-19. The 75-year-old woman, who was partially vaccinated, passed away on Wednesday. Her passing brings the number of deaths from COVID-19 here in Barbados to 402. Meanwhile, the Best dos Santos Public Health Laboratory identified 534 new COVID-19 cases from 1,541 tests conducted. Of that number, 404 people are 18 years and older. In other stats, there were 104 people in isolation facilities, while 3,243 people were in home isolation. Under the National Vaccination Program for COVID-19, the total number of people with at least 1 dose is now 161,824, while the numbers of people fully vaccinated has creeped up to 152,099. After expressing some concern over the rising COVID-19 cases in the Caribbean, the Pan American Health Organization has called on countries to keep their eyes on the pandemic and strengthen measures to combat the virus. Director Dr. Chris Etienne says COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations are rising in too many places.
Good data on what is happening can help each country plan preventive measures, communicate effectively with the public, adjust preventive measures, and reinforce hospital capacity if needed. Vaccines, however, remain our best resource to save lives, especially when cases rise. Data from the Public Health Agency of Canada shows that in the month of March, unvaccinated youth and adults were 3 times more likely to be hospitalized with COVID-19 than fully vaccinated people. The risk is even higher for unvaccinated people over the age of 60.
A third operation is underway to evacuate civilians from the Ukrainian port city of Mariupol and the besieged Azovstal steel plant. This as there are accusations Russia has resumed bombing of the facility, accusations the Kremlin has denied.
It's considered the last pocket of Ukrainian resistance in the shattered city of Mariupol, and the scene of heavy fighting for weeks. Ukrainian forces say Russians are attacking the Azovstal steel factory, where civilians and soldiers are sheltering in underground bunkers. Some of the estimated 2,000 besieged fighters, including women, sing in the dark and wait. There's not enough food or ammunition. Even if outnumbered, they say they have no intention of surrendering.
Heavy, bloody fighting is going on. For 71 days, the defenders of the city have been fighting single-handedly with overpowering enemy forces.
A 3-day ceasefire was promised by Russia to allow civilians to escape. Ukraine says the promise has been broken. Some women, children, and elderly managed to make it out earlier this week, but others remain trapped alongside Ukrainian soldiers.
I really want my family to get out, but not the way we did. It was a miracle we managed to live on the verge of life and death.
Ukraine's president is appealing for help to get the others to safety.
Today I spoke to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, and we discussed what we have already achieved and what is still necessary to do to save Mariupol and the defenders of Mariupol city. There is not a single day that I and my team wouldn't do this, and I'm grateful to everybody who helps.
The Kremlin says accusations of broken promises are propaganda.
The Ukrainian side, and especially those who are hiding in the Azovstal plant, are well known for producing an enormous number of lies and fakes every day. So we should carefully filter all the information we get from them.
Ukraine says Russia is trying to destroy the strategically important city in the south. A Ukrainian counteroffensive is unlikely before the middle of next month, when it hopes more weapons from allies will have arrived.
A tough situation there for civilians and those trying to escape Mariupol. We'll continue to keep you updated here on the Morning Report. Let's go over to Wendy now to see what she has for you on the Friday edition of Morning Barbados to wrap up the week. Wendy, over to you.
Yes, good morning to you, Shane, and good morning to our viewers. Well, we will be heading north. Yes, we're going to be heading north for the Speightstown Global Freedom Festival. It's going to be an exhibition and panel discussion. And the Center for Hybrid Studies at the UWI Cave Hill, they will be involved in this. And the activities will run from May until August. So there's a lot in store there, Shane. We will also be having an African author, an economist, but writing stories of a different nature completely. So details to these and more just ahead.
Thank you so much, Wendy. And speaking about what you have been doing, Wendy, out in the field, Wendy has been checking up on the SSA. They have had a few problems in some communities. We'll be seeing what's happening over the next few days and today as well, right here on the Morning Report. The Sanitation Service Authority says it needs a few days to service some communities that are experiencing problems with garbage collection. Our Wendy Burke has been checking out the situation and files this report.
4 bank holidays falling in quick succession, 4 straight days of rain, COVID, and vagrant attacks have all been plaguing the Sanitation Services Authority in the collection of refuse. But Public Relations Officer Carl Padmore is asking the public to be patient.
We would have received a number of complaints pertaining to the lack of collection, of consistent collection really in some areas of Barbados. We can confirm that we are behind it in terms of collection. The reason for this is between the middle of April and the beginning of May, we would have realized that there were 4 holidays. You had the Good Friday, then the Monday Bank holiday, you had the National Heroes Day, and then you had the Monday again for May Day. So those 4 holidays, we didn't do a lot of collection on those. Then last week, we would have had 4 consistent days of rainfall. Once you have steady rainfall in Barbados, some areas would hemorrhage, especially in those parishes that are very hilly, because when you have the truck full of garbage going up the hill is difficult.
And if the terrain was not problematic enough, crews are being attacked on the job by some of the homeless population.
We are seeing an increase of aggressive vagrants in and around Bridgetown. And we're using the word aggressive because there's some of them that you can actually ask them to move so we can do the collection. But there's some of them that are actually coming with weapons at our crews. Just recently in Bridgetown, we've had to ask police to accompany us. In Grisettes, we've asked police to accompany us as well. And we are concerned about this. And we are saying to families that you might have persons, they get help for them.
They also have had some COVID cases which cause manpower shortages. Mr. Padmore is asking the public's patience for another week to 10 days to get things back on schedule. Wendy Burke, CBC News.
Prime Minister Mia Motley has received another international award. This time it's from a Canadian association. Anne-Marie Bailey has the details.
Prime Minister the Honorable Mia Motley has highlighted the need for the Black diaspora to craft its stories. She made the remarks while accepting the inaugural International Leadership Award in Economic Growth by the Black Business Professional Association in Canada.
It is your advocacy as well that will inspire that young Canadian black child, that young Barbadian black child, that young African child, that young American black child, because too much of the world is seen in the eyes of others, and we need now to let them know that they are beautiful, that they are being heard, that they are being seen, and that they are being felt.
Receiving the award on behalf of all Barbadians, Ms. Motley has emphasized the role governments play in reshaping how the diaspora is portrayed and sometimes sees itself.
We believe that it is only through identifying the art of the possible, as it is your theme, that governments can do the probable, that governments can make a difference in people's lives, that governments can work to ensure that people who have been not seen and not heard for too long in the history can now hopefully look forward to a future that sees them, that hears them, that feels them.
And in characterizing the accomplishments, Consul General of Barbados at Toronto, Sonia Marvel Carter, says the significance cannot be overstated given the current global economic climate.
This award cannot be any easy feat for any prime minister in any country at this time, having just gone through or still going through a global pandemic.
He also notes the award has boosted Barbados's profile in Canada.
It has brought even a greater view of Barbados by the Canadian public in general and the Caribbean, because I must admit that on the night of the awards, the entire Caribbean Consular Corps pretty much they were there to see Prime Minister Motley receive her award. So there is a lot of buzz within the Caribbean community, of course, and within Canada.
President of the Black Business Professionals Association in Canada, Ross Cadas, says Ms. Motley has been recognized for her role in Barbados becoming a republic, for her work at the front line of climate change, and for leading the World Health Organization task force. He says she is an example for young ladies in the region to emulate. Anne-Marie Bailey, CBC News.
In sports, the recent shift in the Caribbean Examination Council and CAPE exams could affect the junior athletes in Barbados who are set to compete at the inaugural Caribbean Games. That competition will run from June the 29th to July 3rd in Guadeloupe and caters to athletes under 23 years of age. The games had first been scheduled to take place in 2009 before being cancelled by Trinidad and Tobago's government shortly before the start due to fears about swine flu at that time. Then last year it was again postponed due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Barbados' head of delegation, Gail Craig Archer, says the situation is being monitored by the Games Organizing Committee. Now, around 800 athletes and 200 officials are expected to represent 29 countries at the event, where they will compete in 7 sports. Craig Archer says a social and from a local standpoint, preparations are progressing well. And that's a look at sports. Let's take a look at weather now. It's 25.3 degrees Celsius on the outside and it's cloudy too. The relative humidity is up to 81% today. The barometric pressure is up to 15.1 millibars and those winds are coming out of the east at 26 kilometers per hour. There will be a low tide this afternoon at 24 minutes to 2. The high tide will be at 20 minutes after 8 tonight. Those seas are moderate in open water with swells between 1.5 and 2 meters and decreasing. Here in Barbados today, we'll have a mix of sunshine and clouds with a few brief isolated light showers. And tonight it will be cloudy with clear periods and a few brief scattered light to moderate showers. And here's a quick look at the international weather forecast. That's it for this edition of the CBC Morning Report. I'm Shane Seeley. I'll see you at 7 with headline news. Up next is Wendy Burke with Mornin Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Hello and good morning. Here's hoping that you're up and making this a fantastic Friday so far. I'm going to do my best to. Good morning to you all. I'm Wendy Burke. This morning we will be heading north, yes, to the north of St. Peter, where we will be looking at the Spitestown Global Freedom Festival. Yes, they're going to be having an entire festival in the north with an exhibition, art exhibition, and some panel discussions. And to help us this morning talk about it and what will be on offer is Dr. Derek Murray, who's the director of the Center for Hybrid Studies at the UWI, and Evans MacDonald, who will be the curator of that exhibition. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi, good morning, Wendy.
Yes, good morning to you both. Now, the Center for Hybrid Studies, in collaboration with the St. Peter Parish Independence Committee and the Parish Organizing Committee, they staged an inaugural event in 2021, and there was a measure of success to it. Now we're going to be seeing an exhibition. We're talking about Ghana. We're talking about emancipation because it is happening within the season of emancipation. Now, Dr. Murray, I want you to tell us about the historic significance of Spitestown and this festival, especially the dates that some of the activities will be culminating on.
Okay, well, that's, Spitestown is extremely rooted in freedom. And first, I want to correct you on one small thing, Wendy. The Center for Hybrid Studies is a private research institute. We work with the university, but we are not a part of the university. So the Spikestown was the place of one of our earliest plots to rebel, and this is the Coffee Rebellion. Coffee plot didn't actually go to rebellion, and it was Coffee that was supposed to be crowned as an African king in Barbados. Had that plot successful, we would have a very different looking Barbados. Of course, in those days, anytime you're plotting against the white plantocracy, if you're discovered, then the consequences were there. And it resulted in the leaders of that particular plot, once they were caught, they were executed, they were burnt, decapitated, their bodies were dragged through Spikestown, just about in that area where the Esplanade is currently. And so Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, he wrote a small book on those early plots, highlighting Coffee and the role of Spikestown and why that was one of the early plots for freedom in this hemisphere. And we thought that it would be appropriate that be viewed as and be promoted as a site of freedom.
Okay.
So that plot historically is we are rooting this idea of freedom in Spikestown on that plot. Of course, there were several plots after, and I should alert you to the fact that there is I should show you Sir Hilary's book on freedom. You should get a copy, and take a read, because it centers Barbados and Spikestown as a place where there's not only the initiative towards freedom, but freedom of thought, freedom of expression. And we've continued that tradition up until today. So we want to have those discussions in art and in philosophy.
Okay. Okay, if I can go now to Evans and the art exhibition, which opens, I believe, at the Caribbean Gallery of Art, entitled Black Beauty on the 25th. There's that particular one, but then there's also going to be some other displays. Now, how are you going to transform Spikestown with art, and who are some of the artists that we're going to be seeing?
Well, Ms. Burke, I do have to correct you slightly.
Okay.
The exhibition is going to be at the Old Spirit Bond.
Oh, is that this Bond? Okay.
Yes,
okay.
The one in Spikestown is going to be at the Spikestown Library,
and
that opens this afternoon.
Okay.
And that is the programmed exhibition.
Now,
it's mostly looking at technology. Yes, please, yeah.
Yeah, tell me exactly what we can see when we go to the library. Because the Spikestown Library, well, the old library was steeped in a lot of history as well. But the new, more modern library, what are we going to be doing there? What can I see?
Yes, so this programmed exhibition is mostly work that looks at technologies and how they relate to the human experience. Of course, because it is a part of the Freedom Festival, we're looking at how technology can be attached to freedom or to restriction of freedom, etc. It's mostly non-traditional work, so a lot of it is sometimes work that's using textiles, yarn. It's looking at installations, graphic arts, sort of like animations, etc.
Okay, so are any of the names in this exhibition ones that we're familiar with, or are we seeing a lot of new and up-and-coming artists?
A mix of both. You have Chris Welch, who would be familiar to some persons, and then you have persons like Katrina Murray, Kiwi the Scribbler, Jerron Griffin, etc.
Okay,
But
if I can.
A mix of both.
Okay, if I can come back to you now, Dr. Murray, a number of Spikestown's signature places and elements like the Fisherman's Pub are part of, form an integral part of the festival. So I want you to walk us through what we can expect from May down to August 2nd, I believe, when you have the walk.
as Evan said, we open with the technology art exhibition. So we have artist. We have Stephen Williams, who's a professional, IT professional, and we have the ambassador, Martha Ortega. They're going to be discussing and exploring, this is the philosophy and art section, and exploring the whole idea of artificial intelligence and technology, and who owns this technology and how it can, in the end, enslave us if we're not careful. And so the art exhibition complements that. It's really the art exhibition is an expression of young people's and emerging artists' idea of how we engage technology. When we're done there at 8 o'clock, we're going over to Fisherman's Pub, where we have poets in the pub. We have emerging poets. Actually, we have Malachi, who is from Spikestown himself. He just participated in the Poetry Slam by the Barbados Library Service. We have Adrian Green, and we have Atari wrote a book and published it, so we want to promote that as well. And that book is Seawater and Sand. So you can come and support the artists, buy their art, buy a copy of the book to support the poets, and come to Fisherman's Pub to enjoy the poetry. So this is the pattern that we'll have every month, towards the end of every month, which happens to coincide with the significant days in the season of emancipation. We have a new art exhibition. We have poets in the pub. We have discourse on the topics that we're highlighting. So next month will be Black Beauty, and the final month will be African spirituality. But this evening at 5 o'clock, come to the Spikestown Branch Library to see and support the emerging artists, hear the discussion on how technology can free us or enslave us, and then enjoy poetry by Fisherman's Pub. It should be an exciting.
Okay, we are also going to be incorporating the newly refurbished jetty, as well as the streets of Spikestown, because you're going to be having some theatrical and musical productions. I know there are quite a few filmmakers in Spikestown of itself as well, Mr. Jilks and his crew over there. So I want to know, what are we looking to portray in this production that's coming about?
We are actually working with school children from St. Peter, Alexandra School, currently CP, and Roland Edwards, to produce episodes of the plot, the Coffee plot. So Coffee will be central to much of the work that we're doing in Spikestown. And the school children are working hard now on a production that we will unfold in episodes from 1 month to the next on the whole plot and resistance surrounding Coffee. The cinema productions, we're collecting films and documentaries that speak to liberation, emancipation, Black beauty, Black empowerment, and so on. And we have evenings of cinema where we highlight those productions of local filmmakers and, of course, filmmakers from St. Peter and Spikestown.
Okay, if I can come back to you quickly, Evans. In June, there's going to be something, air art. Are you going to be curating that? I believe it's June 24th. The poetry, music, plain art, air art, and food. I guess that's another part of the festival? Or are you just curating this one exhibition?
Possibly. People have to wait and see. From what I know, it's just these two so far.
Okay. Now, how difficult was it to pull the artists together to ensure that the themes that you wanted to portray were embodied in as much fullness as you possibly could?
Okay. Well, for me, I was actually taking over from the previous curator, who would be DeAndre Daniel, also known as Delight. So it was a lot easier because we already had a good list of the artists there. So it was more so just reaching out and making sure they'd be able to come back and show some more of their work at Spikestown, because they would have shown in Bridgetown previously.
Okay. Now, so if you were to sell this to some of our visitors who might be coming in during these couple months, what would be your top point in terms of the work that will be on display? What will it be doing to our souls, to our imagination, to our eyes?
Well, for me, it would be that this is non-traditional art in a community space. It's at the Spikestone Library, so it's easily accessible for locals and tourists. But it's also art that is not, again, traditional to the Barbadian landscape. So again, installations, graphic art, and that type of art really needs to be highlighted so you have a balance in the art spaces in Barbados.
Okay. And back to you now, Dr. Murray, for a wrap-up of this festival. Why should Barbadians from other parishes come on down to Spikestown to be immersed in this culture?
Well, I mean, it's part of Barbados, but it's also what I've found, what we've been finding over the last few years is that Barbadians are now extremely interested in heritage. And, you know, there'll come a time when we go to Oistins, we go to St. Philip, we go to we are often in St. Michael. And this is a chance for the people from all over the island to come and hear about these stories, extremely interesting stories about Spikestown. This tonight will be on Zoom as well, so you can go to our website for the link. The website is thechis.org, thechys.org, and you'll find the link there for the event tonight, and we'll be streaming on Facebook as well. So if you can't make it for some tonight, you can also Zoom in, you can stream approximately 3 weeks. So I encourage you, if you can make it to the opening, to make sure that you visit the Spikestown Library, learn something about Spikestown, and purchase some of the art for the artists. It's nice to look at them and analyze and critique the art and so on, but the artists are also trying to develop a career and a living from their passion, and we want to support them in that way as well. Both
Okay.
the artists and the performing artists at the Fisherman's Pub.
Okay, I want to thank you so much, Dr. Derek Murray, the Director of the Center for Hybrid Studies, and Evans MacDonald, who will be the curator of the exhibition. Here's wishing you an excellent launch and an awesome festival. Spikestown is a wonderful place. I spent all my years of secondary school there, so I can tell you firsthand. Have a great morning.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Okay, bye-bye. When Morning Barbados returns, we will be going into a next chapter. Yes, we'll be hearing about an African economist, but they're not writing anything financial. We'll be back in a bit.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back. We are going to be turning the pages now as we go into the next chapter. My guest this morning, Dr. Nana Ador Boateng. She's the author of Legends of the African Sun. The African continent where life began has gifted us with amazing legends who have stood up against injustice and inspired us to be brave. They're kings and queens, warriors and environmentalists, writers and artists, inventors, innovators, thinkers and athletes. Some are women who have led battles against powerful enemies. Others have unique talents which allow them to do things that no one else can do. And Legends of the Sun tells us those stories, but of 30 legendary African women and men. I want to say good morning to you, Dr. Nana. Good morning.
Good morning, Wendy.
Yes, good morning to you. Now, you are an economist, a Ghanaian economist, but you are into writing. Tell me what's the parallel?
Well, as an economist, I think you do also write a lot. You do a lot of research, and it's part of writing, but writing children's stories has been a long-standing passion. So I wanted to write that. I had a young son, and I wanted him to learn about African legends, African history, things that I wasn't taught as a child. So that was really the motivation.
Okay, so for you, it was more important to have it down so others can be a part of it rather than just transferring the oral history. Now, you yourself have traversed several parts of Africa. You were originally born in Italy, but you've lived in Ghana, Kenya, and Tanzania. Are all of the stories you would have picked up along the way into this book that you've written?
Well, absolutely. So there are some of the legends I talk about, which I was fortunate to meet, like Nelson Mandela. I saw him in Tanzania when I was just a little kid. He was driving by to say, thank you to Africa for the support. And so I remembered that when I was writing. I don't talk about that in the book, but I remember that, and it does inspire me when I tell these stories. I've also lived for some years in Cote d'Ivoire, and there is an Ivorian legend. He's an athlete. Didier Drogba also features in there. I've lived 14 years in South Africa. So there's no surprise that there's 8 of the 30 legends are South Africans, but it's not because I lived there. I think it's just a country that truly shines, and it's, out of the struggle, all these legends and heroes have emerged. So yes, I will say my own experience also comes through in the book.
So in terms of reading the work, not just teaching them about the legends, but do you also ensure that the struggles of the African nation are fully encapsulated there so that young people can understand that Africa didn't come to where it is now just by luck and chance?
Precisely. It's written for children, so you would say it's diluted a bit. It needs to be age appropriate, but certainly some of the stories show the struggle. There's a lot of revolutionaries in the book. There's, Nelson Mandela, as I mentioned. Winnie Mandela is also mentioned, and I do speak about the struggles, putting them in solitary confinement, a young mother taking her away from her young children. And these are the sacrifices she made for, the greater good, for her country, for the continent, for people. So there's several of those stories where the struggles come across, and it's important for children to know this early on.
You're also showing how some barriers and triumphs have come about as well, because you have Lupita as well featured.
Yeah, correct. So she, almost came out of nowhere, and the first movie we saw her in internationally, she wins an Oscar. And it was just beautiful to watch. And it's also a story about a dark-skinned woman that a lot of people know what that's like, and the sort of history and discrimination that comes with dark skin. And she has really crossed boundaries and also written a book also about colorism and that. So it's truly noble, and it shows, we've come a long way in respect to, yes, gender and color.
Okay, now outside of your economic background, your motherhood, and your writing, you're also into chocolate making.
That's right. So I wear a few hats, and chocolate making, it came about because I come from a country that produces a lot of cocoa for the world. In fact, the two countries, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, produce, I believe, 60% of the world's cocoa. And you don't often find chocolate that is made by these countries on the shelves. You'll find every other chocolate, the Lindt and Cadbury and all of that. And that was really my motivation. And I thought, well, I don't just want to speak about it. Let me be about it. So I set out to learn how to make chocolate. And it was a hobby, and it just grew from there. And I'm taking it a bit seriously now, but it's just really something I do because I have a full-time job. I do it on the holidays. But yes, it's an important part of my journey to really try and promote development in Africa. And it's just looking about what do we have and what can we do with it, and how can we change the narrative about being a continent that is just exporting raw materials. So we need to do better. It's value addition, and I really want to be part of this movement.
Where can we get Legends of the African Sun?
So at the moment, it's available through the Archway Publisher. It's the publishing companies and independent press. And it's also available on online stores, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Take-A-Lot, several of these online stores. You can order it a hard copy or a soft copy. And I'm still working to try to find a traditional publisher so I can have it in physical bookstores. So I'm not there yet, but I'm working on that.
Okay, and whilst you're trying to do that, do we have any other manuscripts that are there being typed away at on your laptop?
Not on the laptop, maybe in my head. So there are a few I'm thinking about. My son is actually a big inspiration, so he asks questions that we never dared to ask as a child. For instance, he'll ask, does God wear underwear? Does he eat breakfast? Things like that. So I do think about a book that talks about maybe some of the crazy things kids talk about. I have to see how I put that together, but that's in my head. Then I also think about a book, probably maybe something called Little Economist or something like that. So just trying to break down what an economist is, what they do, why it's important, things to do also with the environment and things like that. So that's what I'm working on in my head right now.
Okay, now you mentioned something there in terms of the children and what they ask and what they dare to do. Do you find that in terms of the transition from how you were raised initially to how you're now rearing him, do you find that it is breaking some of the cultural dynamics that were around before for Africans?
Yes, absolutely. And not to throw shade to my parents, but I mean, it was the time where, not just to be seen and not heard, and you don't ask something, they're not questioned, especially even of religious content, So I was a kid to ask anything, give him the freedom of space on his mind. Often Google it, get more information. And so I think just having that curious mind really opens up a lot of ideas. So I did him. He always comes up even with ideas that normally I wouldn't even think about. There's a big yeah.
Okay, now you're also into blogging, the Afro Optimist blog. Tell me a little bit about that before we go. Nana, Dr. Nana?
Yes.
Okay.
So the Afro Optimist blog. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it back now?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. So the Afro Optimist blog, I started it in 2015. It was actually the year my son was born, and I naively thought, oh, I have so much time now. Child will sleep, I don't know, 20 hours a day. So I have so much time to blog. And so I was doing it every month, I think for 3 years I was a bit consistent, and lately I'm not as consistent. But these are blogs that tell African stories of interest to Africa, interest to actually anybody really, but they're just, some are personal stories, some are just inspirational stories about what's happening on the continent. Occasionally I might do some political reviews or even stories where I put on my economist hat. I mean, I'm hoping to get back into blogging. I love doing it. It's just, I think, a question of time on my part.
Okay, I want to thank you for joining us this morning, Dr. Nana Adawa Boateng. It was great having you. Happy to know that we are putting the lessons down on paper so that none of our history is lost over time as African people. Here's a brilliant Friday to you. Have a fantastic day, you and your son, and enjoy your upcoming weekend. And happy Mother's Day in advance. Yes, let me not forget that.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day in advance. Okay.
Much appreciated. Thank you so much.
You're most welcomed. Well, when Morning Barbados returns, it will be time to talk news, but we also have a couple things coming up over the weekend that you should be a part of. We'll be back in a bit.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And as I told you, there are going to be some things coming up on the weekend that you can go out and participating. One of them is going to be at the Christchurch Parish Church. They will be hosting a drive-through tea party as a fundraiser to effect some repairs to the church roof and on its bell tower. That theme is Spread the Love. It's happening on Sunday, Mother's Day. It will be at the Ivan Harewood Center at the Christchurch Parish Church from 12:30 until 3, and the collection times will be arranged in 30-minute shots. Now, tickets are available from the church's office Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so you've missed the other days, so go on out tomorrow between 10 and 2 and get your tickets, or you can get them earlier on Sunday from 8 a.m. until 11. So go support the Christchurch Parish Church in its fundraising event. And you know, it's Mother's Day coming up. I know a number of the places are already booked up. So that means that a lot of us will be treating our mothers on Sunday. And that's good to acknowledge, because as you always hear, mothers are the creators of our nation, because without birth, there'd be no continuity. So Here's a happy Mother's Day to all mothers out there who are biological mothers, but also those who have stepped up and assisted others whose moms may have died early, who may not know who their mothers are, but to all those out there who are playing that role. Now, in a bit, we will be having our news with Shane Seeley, but wishing you all a happy Mother's Day. It's time now to hear what else is going to be going on at the weekend. There's so many things to do. I'm hoping that my little ones are out getting my shopping done for my gift. Yes, I appreciate Mother's Day gifts more than just the hugs, the kisses, and the cards, which are important because as mothers, you know, especially when they're toddlers and they find those crayons and that paper and those pencils, to just draw and show us the embodiment of their love for us. We can't translate it really, but we as mothers have to appreciate it. I don't know if you're like me, but it's forced on the fridge. But let's not keep you any longer. Here's now this morning's news recap.
Wendy, I really hope you get that Mother's Day gift. I know it'll be problems for the children there. But here's your headline news for this Friday, May the 6th. Prime Minister Mia Moore-Motley is describing as productive meetings held with the new executive director at the International Monetary Fund with responsibility for the Caribbean, Philip Jennings, as well as the new IMF director for the Western Hemisphere, Mr. Elan Goldfein. The Barbadian leader is currently in Washington, D.C. There, she also reconnected with the officials involved in government's Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation, better known as the BERT program. She also met with the managing director of operations at the World Bank, engaging in frank and open discussions on a number of issues. Back here at home, it appears that scores of Barbadians have been falling victim to a cyber attack. This hack is being disguised as a link purporting to be a story of me doing an interview with Barbadian megastar and national hero, the right excellent Robin Rihanna Fenty, back when I was a host on Mornin Barbados. Now, while the story about her speaking to me about the cryptocurrency market is fake news, people are being lured into clicking the link and opening the gateway to their personal information being hacked. Tech expert Steve Fung spoke to me about the situation exclusively on the Morning Report, and he says this type of social engineering attack, or is better known as phishing, could have devastating consequences for those who open the link.
Data harvesting used to be the initial goal, where persons will look to steal identities, your email password, your Facebook password, your online banking. More recently, they have been searching for persons who may have access to cryptocurrencies. So essentially, any important information, any personal information you store on your computer, your ID card number, which is akin to a social security number, they will try to take advantage of and use to steal your money, steal your lives, take out loans in your name, mess up your reputation. And what tends to happen, a lot of these people may use your stolen account to interact with other people to then lure them into the same type of traps that they have.
But the tech expert says you can protect yourself from these hacks by doing research first before opening the questionable links. In this instance, with the fake news Rihanna story, he points out some of the warning signs.
So it's very simple as looking at the link structure. In the case of the link that is being sent around with the false Mornin Barbados report and Rihanna, you will observe that the link structure has barbadostoday.bb in it, but it isn't barbadostoday.bb.com. It is, let's say, a random website.com/barbadostoday.bb and then the news article. Essentially, if the news source is from Barbados Today, it will be barbadostoday.com or CNN.com, not johnbrown.com/CNN, if you understand. So link structures are important. Also, people tend to get lulled by free giveaways.
In news about COVID-19 now on the local scene, another elderly woman has lost the battle with the virus. A 75-year-old woman who was partially vaccinated passed away on Wednesday. Her passing brings the number of deaths from the viral illness to 402. Meanwhile, the Best Dos Santos Public Health Laboratory identified 534 new COVID-19 cases from 1,541 tests conducted. Of that number, 404 people were 18 years and older. In other stats, there were 104 people in isolation facilities, while 3,243 were in home isolation. After expressing some serious concern over the rising number of COVID-19 cases in the Caribbean, the Pan American Health Organization has called on countries to keep their eyes on the pandemic and strengthen measures to combat the virus. Director Dr. Chris Etienne says COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations are rising in far too many places.
Good data on what is happening can help each country plan preventive measures, communicate effectively with the public, adjust preventive measures, and reinforce hospital capacity if needed. Vaccines, however, remain our best resource to save lives, especially when cases rise. Data from the Public Health Agency of Canada shows that in the month of March, unvaccinated youth and adults were 3 times more likely to be hospitalized with COVID-19 than fully vaccinated people.
And in some breaking news in our headline news, the British Virgin Islands has a new premier after the governor revoked the appointment of Andrew Foy. The House of Assembly voted unanimously on a no confidence motion brought against Foy. Mr. Foy is currently detained in the United States, charged with drug trafficking and money laundering. A new cabinet that consists of opposition MPs was also sworn in last evening. Dr. Wheatley, the new premier, says tremendous work has to be undertaken by the new Unity administration. He assured the BVI the government is committed to reform in that overseas territory. And that's our headline news. I'm Shane Seeley. We'll take a break here and then come back with more with Wendy Burke here on Mornin Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's time for Spell It with Pediasure. Are you going to spell it in 30 seconds?
You heard the time, 30 seconds. That's what you have. Let's spell it with Pediasure. It's now time for you little ones to win. Can you spell the word I will call? Call me at 228-5562 or 228-5563. Call me and let's see, get to spelling. Pediasure. It's clinically proven to help little ones grow, serving up a complete and balanced nutrition for those little bodies. Call me this morning, 228-5562, 228-5563. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How old are you?
7.
7. Okay. Your word for the morning is weird.
W-E-I-R-D.
Wow, no hesitating, no stopping, no sticking, and you are indeed correct. Stay on the line. Give your name or have mommy or daddy give their information to our producer so that you will know where you can collect your Pediasure from. Pediasure, it comes in a number of exciting flavors for those little bodies. Congratulations to you.
That was Spell It, brought to you in association with Pediasure.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And I want to welcome back this morning Mr. Brandon Dowell, the director at Bright Sparks, here to tell us about an initiative that they're doing with the Sandy Crest Medical Facility. Good morning to you, Brandon.
Good morning again, Wendy.
Yes, good morning. Now, you're going to be looking to host, coming up, I believe it is the Sky Mall, a health and education collaboration with Sandy Crest. We're not only getting a free health check, but we're also getting a free educational assessment. Now, Brandon, do you find that a lot of parents know where they can go to get these assessments done?
A lot of parents go to the ministry, or it would be advised by their school teacher to get an assessment done. However, there are multiple educational psychologists across the island who will be more than willing and happy to assist students with such assessments. We are able to do screening. So there's a difference between a screening and an assessment. A screening will be able to say, well, the child is susceptible to having some type of reading difficulties such as dyslexia, but we can't necessarily diagnose and say how far on the spectrum. That would be the duty of the educational psychologist. So we work with educational psychologists with the screening, and then they'll be able to do the learning plan and the educational assessment.
Okay, so even though you don't take it all the way at Bright Sparks, you do have those connections which can keep our child on that educational path to progress and success.
Yes, we do.
Okay, now let's talk about the weekends coming up and what we're going to be having. In terms of the parents, for those who wouldn't have heard, I forgot to ask you, is Sunday included?
Sunday is not included. We do not advocate to work on a Sunday. Sunday is a day of rest.
Can you tell that to my boss?
No comment. No comment. Y'all have been so kind to invite me on the show. I don't want to.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Plead the fifth. We're good. We're good. Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, so tomorrow, reading and health checks. We're doing, on the health side, we're doing cholesterol, blood pressure, and blood sugar testing. The cholesterol test is unfortunately not free. Cholesterol test is just going to be $10 as well. However, all the educational assessments are free of charge. We've actually added an additional math assessment as of yesterday when I met with my tutors, and we're also going to be doing mathematics and reading assessments for the students.
Okay, now in terms of the numbers that might turn out, because I'm just wondering, because you told me that Sheraton was inundated and you had to take a couple extra hours, and we as Barbadians, we like to know it is free. But there's nothing wrong with that, because everyone needs help, especially in these tough times that we're having now. So is there any room for a runover if needed tomorrow?
Yes, there is room for a runover. What I will offer persons to deal with the high demand for these assessments is that you guys can give us a call at 287-9775 or visit our Instagram at BrightSparksINTL. Once you reach out to any of our personnel, we will offer a free assessment at either our primary school in Britons Hill or a tutor agency in Club Morgan. So Saturday is not the end-all be-all. We're willing to continue to assist parents.
Okay, and I'm happy to hear that, because a lot of parents have noticed the deficits over the last 2 years of online school. Now, on average, how long is an assessment?
An assessment ranges from 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay, and if I'm getting both done, can they be done simultaneously, or is it a situation where the English assessor, the reading assessor, is not the same person who's the math assessor?
Yeah, unfortunately, so we believe in specialization. So persons that are specialized in English, they will do the reading assessment. Our math professionals will do the math assessment. So no, it will unfortunately not be able to be done simultaneously. However, since it's a mall setting and there's so much going on, we also encourage persons to just liaise the mall, patronize the mall, and spend a little time while we wait on the students for the assessment.
Now, are the parents able to get the free checks as well, or this is just for the little ones?
The reading assessments and
not the reading, the health checks. Yeah, are the parents?
Yeah, so the idea is that while you wait for your student to get a reading assessment, you can go and get your health numbers and speak with the professionals at Sandy Crest.
Okay, because it's important to have our little ones checked as well, yes, because sometimes they're undergoing stress and things that we don't think will impact them, they are, even in terms of anxiety. And it's not always to do with school, sometimes it's to do with socialization, because now coming back out from the online environment, especially for those now entering a secondary school or a new primary school, it's been a little difficult adjusting, because it's like, boom, you haven't been around people for so long and we're immersed once again. So even things like that, can from time to time impact on their learning. Now, when I sit to be assessed, walk me through what are some of the things that will take place. Like, say, for example, can a 10-year-old be assessed by him or herself versus maybe a 5-year-old that will have to be with mommy or daddy or auntie or uncle?
Yes, so most definitely it really depends on the maturity of the student. Some students at 5 can actually sit down and do an assessment with us, or education professionals, they always feel so comfortable with our people. And as a result, whether you're 5 or 10, you don't necessarily need to sit with the children per se. But if you do feel comfortable doing so, we also have an extra seat next to you and we invite such.
Okay, now, anything that we should walk with? Should we bring along their last report in terms of looking at what the reading mark was, or the math mark, anything like that?
There's no need to necessarily walk with the report. Most parents actually have the reports on their phone in a PDF format. However, all we require is some smiles to come to the booth.
And children are always smiling. Little ones tend to be much happier than us adults, because I guess they deal with a little less, so that's how it goes. Now remind our viewers of the venue and the times.
Our venue for tomorrow is Sky Mall at 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. But we might go a little later.
Okay, and as you said, we can also stroll the mall. Now, you mentioned that the cholesterol was a $10 fee, but the blood pressure and the blood sugar checks are free compliments of Sandy Crest. Now, Sheraton was inundated. We've been plugging it, and you mentioned, give us the numbers again to call at the school should the parents not get through in the line before you end.
287-9775. I will also give my personal tutor number, which is 236-9878. Failing that, always reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook at Bright Sparks INTL.
Okay, Brandon, I want to thank you so much. I'm hoping that this initiative goes really, really well because we need to find out what are some of those deficits our children might be facing in the areas of reading, writing, and mathematics. Here's wishing you a pleasant morning. If you have any children, here's wishing the mom Happy Mother's Day. Here's wishing your mother Happy Mother's Day, or any other mothers who might be in your life, as well as the mothers at Bright Sparks.
I appreciate that a lot, Wendy. Thank you. And same to you as well.
I thank you as well. Have a great Friday.
Same to you.
That's Brandon Dowell of Bright Sparks. He's a director there. So go on over to Sky Mall and have your little one assessed. Morning Barbados will be back after the break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And we're back. It's time now to talk about the Barbados Flame Gospel Awards. Yes, gospel music in Barbados. They're going to be having their awards coming up shortly. It's going to be an excellent Mother's Day gift, in fact, on Sunday. I want to welcome Mr. Mike Cummins, who's the organizer of these awards, and Liz Black, who will be the host. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you today?
I am well today, Miss Black. What about you?
I am feeling good. I'm up before the birds were chirping, so I am ready to rock and roll today.
I am happy. That means you're excited for these awards that are going to be coming up. Mike, I know this is something you have been working on for years. You have never, ever moved away from the gospel arena and the idea of rewarding those within the arena. So tell me, Mike, in 2022, how are these awards, the Flame Awards, going to differ from those of previous years?
Yeah, this is the first time that we're going to be doing them virtually in terms of voting. And normally we would have a committee and we would decide on the winner. But this time we had put the matter out to the public, and the public voted, and basically we giving the winners on that.
Okay, and how can one get a ticket for the awards? Where do I have to
Well,
go?
actually, yeah, it is online. We go to flameawardsbb.com and you can register there. $20 in advance, $25 on the day. This is $25 US because it is an international event. We're promoting it in Trinidad, Jamaica, United States. We're promoting it in the UK. We've gone all over the world trying to do the best we can, try to get as many people to be in as possible. The last one we did really did a lot of work for us because it was shown in the United States, Africa, it was shown in Colombia, and that one really surprised us. And it was shown all through the region, Jamaica in particular, on Scene TV. We got a lot of traction from it, and we were encouraged to try to improve on our standard for this year, and that is what we're trying to do. And that is where Liz Black has come in.
Yes, and I was just about to get to Miss Black, who happens to be a midday show host called Inspirations with Liz Black. It's a syndicated show on American Urban Radio Inspiration Network. Now, when you were approached to host this Flame Awards, now in its 18th installation, what was your response?
I was excited. The fact that, I was asked to come for such a special event. I mean, we're bringing the good news when people need to hear the good news. And, I get an opportunity to see so many gospel artists, and to now be able to go abroad and bring some of the artists from the Flame Awards here to New York City, here to the States, it's very exciting.
And you're going to be having some interesting people too, because it's going to be a combination of Barbadian artists, Nigerians, Jamaicans, those out of the U.S. How do you feel about the lineup, Liz?
I think the lineup is great. It shows that we can all come together on one accord. We're in unity on this day. And, regardless of where you're at, we're all speaking the same language, and that is Jesus is Lord. We're bringing inspiration, and we're making a difference in the lives of the people.
Now, just to let the audience know who some of those people will be that will be featured in terms of performances, there will be Tony Norville, Aaliyah St. Hill, and there'll be special appearances by Donnie McClurkin and some other artists out of Africa. Now, Mike, we started this, as we said, this is 18 years. How have you managed to keep that flame burning?
Oh my goodness. It had to be God, because there were many dark days, there were many times I wanted to quit. And I remember there was a period when I had given up, and I had this dream. And in this dream, there were some young people telling me, if I quit, what are they going to do? That they depend on me. So with things like that, I kept trotting on, because we're basically the only awards system now, apart from the we going on now, but all the others came and went, and we're the only ones that have survived. And it's not been easy, especially without sponsorship, without encouragement in a lot of different areas. But our task has always been to try to improve gospel music in Barbados, and we know that young artists keep coming on the scene all the time, and they need help. So that's what we're here for.
But you're not only supporting the artists, but the organization is also looking to give back to others. And you want to use the show this year to assist the Caribbean United Trust charity. Tell us about that one, Mike.
Yeah, we've always been, we are a charity, and we have to do that, but we like doing it, and we do it privately most times. But on this occasion, because we are going public with what we're doing, and we are taking pay-per-view, so to speak, we want to give back a little bit more. And that's the reason why we're asking the public to support the event in a big way, because if 100 people or 200 people buy in, it really is not going to assist the cause. So we really want people in Barbados and through the region and across the world to really support this venture. But most importantly, apart from the fact that we are giving to them, we are also organizing some events which would help improve the standard of gospel music. That's why we're doing something called Soul to Soul, and this is on every Monday night for the next two Monday nights. That is basically to help improve our standard of music here in Barbados. So we don't want to rest on our laurels. We want to keep improving all the time, and to try to make our product available to the international market.
Okay, now we're booking online, but there's some people who unfortunately don't believe in any kind of internet banking. For those people who don't want to do that, how can they still get a ticket?
Especially after yesterday, when all the banks complained that they were hacked. I mean, goodness. We
Wow.
have CLC, Christian Literature Crusade. This is on Constitution Road, right opposite Queen's Park, and they can book there. They can, once they pay the money there and give them their email address, we would get the information and we would send a link to their email.
Okay, if I can get back to you now, Liz, walk us through the format of the award session and how you'll be bringing it all together.
Well, first of all, I want to bring it to Barbados and I want to bring it to everyone else. And I do want to tell everyone, please, please get a ticket. Even if maybe you're busy that day or you know someone and maybe they can't afford a ticket, bless them. Buy a ticket for yourself. Buy a ticket for them. You're going to see a variety of different gospel artists, whether it be praise and worship, rhythm and praise. We're going to bring you a variety. So there's something for everybody in this award ceremony.
Okay, and it's important that we look at our artists and award them. Now, you're going to be doing the categories of new artist, best scripture-based song, producer, music video, songwriter, reggae song, praise and worship song, male and female vocalist, song and music department, international song, and Caribbean recording and Caribbean song. Now that says our reach in those last two categories, Mike, are going beyond Barbados.
Yes, indeed. A lot of the music that is played on our radio stations, a lot of that music comes from outside of Barbados. Especially internationally, USA, now Africa is really taking over, and also through the region. So we just thought that we would extend it a little bit more. Normally we would have a category called Foreign Artist of the Year, but because of COVID especially, we decided to extend it a little bit more to have a wider outreach. And what we've done is we promoted the event at our expense without any assistance from government or corporate Barbados. We promoted it in Trinidad and Jamaica and throughout the region, and they're buying into what we're doing because we've also involved them in the actual event. So Jamaica radio station has an outreach of about 2 million people. So we think that we are onto something good by getting them involved in the actual program itself. We do honor them from time to time as well, because we have the legendary award, which this year goes to Donnie McClurkin. Dr. Bobby Jones had it last time, and we have Nadine Blair from Jamaica. She's going to be honored as well. Last time we honored Julian Rogers and Elambe Motley for their contribution to gospel music in the early stages. So we've been trying our best to tell people thanks, basically, for what they've done for gospel music over the years.
Okay. Now, Liz, when it comes to your radio show and hearing some of the music produced in Barbados, how much of it do you play and how does it excite you and your listeners?
Well, when I'm on Sunday mornings, it's a great way to get everybody started. And a lot of times, they don't get a chance to hear the gospel music from Barbados or from Jamaica or from abroad. So I am just grateful that I'm a part of the Flame Awards so that I can also greet the artists and bring their music to my radio station also. So I think this is a perfect blend and mix. I think Mike is doing a great job, and to really reach out to so many different areas so that we all come together. And it's just a big melting pot of the different sounds, but it's all with the same message.
And that's the glory of God.
Yes, the glory of God. This is why we do what we do, for lives to be changed.
Now, Mike, you mentioned the foreign category, but I'm just wondering if maybe now it might not be time to put that to rest, since we're all now global citizens. I mean, Barbados punches above its weight. We are all so much more connected now, especially because of the pandemic and having to reach out through the internet. So it's no longer as if we're looking at all those miles of water and land dividing us. We're just all a click away now.
We punch again, we punch above our weight, but not in gospel music, and not in my view, because if we were, our music would be played in America, and it would be played in different parts of the world. And what I discovered was that while we play music from all over the world, Trinidad probably plays about 2 or 3 of our artists, while we play all of theirs. Jamaica maybe play 1 or 2, and while we play all of theirs. So there's some inequity in the system, which we will be addressing going forward. There's still a lot of work to be done. We are punching above our weight, but there's still a lot more that we can do, and part of that process is in Soul to Soul, which we do on Monday night. And also, over the years, we've done a lot of seminars of training and retooling and getting our artists up to scratch. So we're not just sitting down doing nothing. We're just trying to improve our songwriting, our singing, our talent, and everything, because basically it's the talent that really gets you into the door, and while it is the character and so on that keeps you in, but we got to get the talent right. We have to get the talent right.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'm wondering if maybe it's not a situation where the mix or the rhythm or the tone or the actual message coming through the lyrics may not be as easily digestible to other markets, because we talk about things which are intrinsically Barbadian. Could that be one of the issues?
I don't think so. I think a lot of our music now can be played anywhere. A lot of the times when we do the judging, we send the music to artists overseas or agencies overseas to get them to assess it. And for the last 10 years, the response has been extremely good. So I don't think that we are in a position where we should feel inferior, but I always think that we can do better. So that's where I'm at right now. And what is happening now is that we're getting a lot of new artists coming on the scene, but we have to get them to hit the ground running. There's no room right now for learning, taking 2 or 3 years to learn the stuff. We have to do more training in order to get them up to scratch. And we also have to encourage the artists who are already established to seek to go beyond Barbados, because some people just think that doing a concert here or getting their music played on the radio, it is enough. But there's more that can be done, and out of that too, we are also reaching out to Africa, because we are playing a lot of their music here in Barbados, so they have to play ours. So that's the way I'm looking at it right now, and I'm talking to some people in Africa right now, some record producers and so on. So and that's another reason why we formed a record label called Destiny Records. So we're going to be trying to help some new artists to bring them out, and what we want to make sure, we want to make sure that the quality is good. And we're talking to Jonathan, Matt Reynolds management, and Travis Green's management, and they've agreed to assist us in getting to that venture, And when the artists do come out, they will be afforded the opportunity to open for some of these international artists, So our program also includes songwriting, a singing competition, where the winner of that competition will be automatically signed to the label, and then we'll expand from there.
Okay, Liz, what am I going to be seeing and hearing from you on Sunday?
Well, first of all, you're going to be seeing me have an opportunity to bring some of the best gospel music from around the world on that night. Well, we're airing 2 times, 3 o'clock and at 3 o'clock. And I'm looking forward to meeting so many of you that I haven't had a chance to. So it's really going to be a fabulous time. You're in for a treat.
bring the whole family together, sit back, relax, and just enjoy the great music that's going to come forward.
Okay, Flame
And
Award. Yes.
Liz is going to be coming to Barbados soon, so just
soon.
roll out the red carpet for her.
Okay, we'll make sure to have it ready, Mike. Now, remind us
thank
again quickly, Mike, of where we can get our tickets.
FlameAwardsBB.com online. $20 for if you book before Sunday. On Sunday, if you book, it is $25 US, which is $40 Barbados and $50 Barbados. And if you don't have a card, a credit card or debit card, you can go to CLC on Constitution Road, right opposite Queen's Park, and you can also register there as well. So we want to see everybody in the place on Sunday, Mother's Day. That's why we are showing it again at 8 o'clock. So if you miss it at 3 o'clock, you can see it at 8 o'clock in the evening, just in case you are out with your Mother's Day's activities. Come online on Sunday, 3 o'clock, and then at 8 o'clock.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Here's wishing you an excellent set of awards. Happy that you stood the course and continued. Have a great weekend.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Liz.
Thank you both.
Bye-bye.
That was Mike Cummings there and Liz Black. They'll be bringing you the Flame Gospel Awards on Sunday. Morning Barbados will be back after the break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And we're back with Morning Barbados, and we're winding down. We're coming up to the end, but today is Fresh Friday, so let's show you what we have in store.
Hyper sound. Boom, music, music, music. If you're looking for some place to get away, welcome to paradise. Barbados, so nice. Whether you're drinking rum or a pack of Kool-Aid, welcome to paradise. Barbados, so nice. Man, this thing so sweet, no others can compete. That is my island. Barbados, so nice. We got the best beaches, girl with them peaches down in my island. Barbados, so nice. new friends become family. Going back at this place I call home, sweet and cassava bone. This place is a one of a kind, no other place. Let me take you on the West Coast, where we party the most. If you're looking a place to go, Barbados is heading for sure. If you're looking for some place to get away, welcome to paradise. Barbados so nice. Whether you're drinking rum or a pack of Kool-Aid, welcome to paradise. Barbados so nice. Man, this thing so sweet, no others can compete. That is my island. Barbados so nice. We got the best beaches, girl, with them peaches down in my island. Barbados so nice. So many places you can visit. Kensington Oval for cricket, Baxter's Road, fried fish, you get it. St. Nicholas Abbey, the train ride it. Harrison's Cave, you must visit. Atlantis Submarine, you love it. Man, this place is paradise. This place is paradise. It is paradise. No other place like this. This is paradise. This place is paradise. It is paradise. This place is paradise. Barbados, no other place. If you're looking for some place to get away, welcome to paradise. Barbados, so nice. Whether you're drinking rum or a pack of Kool-Aid, welcome to paradise. Barbados, so nice. Man, this thing so sweet, no others can compete. That is my island. Barbados, so nice. We got the best beaches, girl, with them peaches down in my island. Barbados, so nice.
This is paradise, brother.
And that was Barbados Nice, the new single of Hypersound's a soca artist, performer, songwriter, producer, and DJ. And he's right here with me. Good morning to you, Hypersounds.
Good morning, good morning. How are you doing?
I am great. What about you?
I'm nice, I'm nice. Good to be in paradise.
And that is exactly where we are, in paradise, with this new single. Now, Hypersounds has been on the scene since the late 90s as one of the more popular disc jockeys in Barbados. And he quickly built up his fan base and a reputation for quality with his turntable skills. But then he decided to take his entertainment career to another level, and he began to showcase his skills in singing and songwriting. Now, Hyper, this song, Barbados Nice, what propelled it? I know you often sing about the homeland of your grandmom, and you do your zouk and, you know, your different language and stuff like that. What propelled this particular single?
It was just a vibe, you know, like you said before. I mostly talk about St. Lucia, where my parents from St. Lucia, and I did the Festa, did a tribute to St. Lucia. So it was only right now that, come on, I do a tribute to my birthplace, my homeland, the place that no other place could ever compete with. But the whole vibe came about from I just building the rhythm, and that was the vibe that hit me, and I just freestyled it, and the rest from there was history, man.
Okay, now Crop Over 2022 is upon us. I guess this track will be featured, but what else is there from Hyper this year?
We have something that's out right now called Balance Batty. It's on the Bad Weather rhythm, and of course we have lots of music to be dropping, but we just taking the time to release them, because you don't want to put everything out there, just rush and push it out there, you don't get a chance to promote it. So we have the Balance Batty, which is doing very well, thanks to everybody that been supporting the project. It's actually a rhythm called Bad Weather featuring Jago the Champ and Mole.
Bad weather. I guess it's appropriate given that, you know, Crop Over is during the hurricane season. So it's a fit. Yeah, but I have heard it, and it's not bad at all. It's not bad. We might not all want to balance a batty, but it's a nice groove. Now, the women love you. That's no secret. From Sunshine Girl, you know, you are always pushing the females and, you know, celebrating them. But the balance batty now is, I guess, a little different because we're not accustomed seeing you with covers as sultry as that particular one and so on, you know. So why step a little outside of the usual zone you're in this year?
It's not really stepping outside of my zone. Is the people now understanding that I'm an entertainer and I'm an artist. So through the years I've gained a lot of fans from old to young, to people that don't really like to party but still like to just vibe to music. So as an entertainer, it's my job to please everybody. Some people may say they like the new me. No, y'all now getting accustomed to what is Hyper Sounds and where the brand is going.
Okay, and on that issue of brand, you have been doing a lot of that. You have a line of t-shirts and caps and that kind of thing. What prompted the foray into that type of marketing? Because I remember a while back we spoke and I was asking you about an agent, and when you spoke to me, a lot of what you did was actually self-propelled. You market you.
Yeah. Basically, from intersection, from the days of a DJ, I always knew, from the time I found that I have this passion for music, I always want that whatever I do, I put the best foot forward and always look at it as a brand, a job. So finding myself was the first thing of all that I had to do. Find myself and understand what I really want to do. I had a chance to spend some time in the US in my earlier years. So then out in Jersey for a bit, you know, exposed to that culture and understand branding, image and everything. So just now as I started to do the DJing and became an artist, producer, I just bring everything together in a Hyper Sounds way and how I would like the world to see my brand and to see me as, and also for my country to understand what I'm about to do for it.
So what's going to be coming out for summer in terms of your branding?
We're still going with the Sat Her There. Shout out to every single person right now. That's the hottest thing on the road. Big ups to everybody. I can't even believe it that actually, you know, is dreams and stuff that I had from a kid just coming true. So we're working with the Sat Her There. We are the Pastel Edition now. We're gonna bring something for the summer. And we also have a different brand called Some Her, and some new stuff will be coming out as well with the summer. But at this moment, you know, still a lot of work to do, so I just don't want to rush things. I want to just trying to make Hyper Sounds, the entertainer, be a household name in Barbados and throughout the Caribbean and to the rest of the world. Is the same way working with the brand. Everything takes time. It took me 10 years before to realize what this kid could do. So I don't mind if it takes me another 10 years to get the brand exactly where I want it.
Okay, now you're still catering to the ladies, Sat Her Day, Some Her. What about the guys? I mean, other than forcing them to try to dress like you on stage, because we know you're one of the sharpest ones out there, you know, haircut always on point, the whole lot of it. Although I miss the plait hair, I'm going to tell you that. I miss your hair. You had nice hair. But what about the guys? Or do you think, you know, there's already so much about them, let's just continue celebrating women?
I mean, from intersection, Hyper Sounds was ladies approved. Just salute to all the guys, man. Spend some time with your female, cop some merch for your female, bring your female to a Hyper Sounds concert. That's all the guys gotta do. Your job easy. Just be consistent.
That is so true. Step up to the table. Yeah. Now, you would have had some concerts of your own during the season. Can we expect anything this year? I know it is COVID times and Cropover has now been rubber stamped, but are you looking to do a solo show again this year?
We're not going to do the Soca for Her concert. Sorry to break the news, but we're looking to, you know, to come bigger and better next year for sure. But for this year, we're just going to be at all the events, man. A lot of bookings been coming in. I'm trying to manage, how we're going to do the overseas bookings and the crop over. But hey, it's my job. I'm the messenger. I'm there to put smiles on everyone's face and make sure that I have a great time and enjoy music. So I'm going to find a way to do it.
Okay. Now, you are one of the entertainers who, during the COVID pandemic, I saw actually making use of the fact that we were in that pandemic mode, and you were actually still out there entertaining and keeping people's spirits lifted by actually still performing abroad. You might have gotten some kickback for it, but in terms of doing that, what was the main motivation?
The motivation was to get back to work. At the end of the day, like I said, I'm an entertainer, but still, it still falls down to, you still got bills to pay, you still got to deal with the family, and still got to represent the country the same way. And Hypersound's being heavily requested from intersection in the career. So I wasn't surprised when the bookings came in as soon as they know that I was vaccinated and everything was approved. The hardest part was getting the team overseas to get protocols, because you still had to be safe. Remember, you still got to come back home to friends and family. So just getting things safe and make sure that I could hit the road and do what I have to do, and in a safely and pleasant manner.
Now, we have some new protocols out for this year's crop over. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about them?
To be honest, we asked to be, as the quote-unquote word, outside. So we can't have it both ways. We're going to be outside, but we still got to follow these protocols. We already see how hard the PM is working to make sure that everything is running right. Everybody, frontline workers, so but at the end of the day, we still got to do our part. You just got to abide with it. If you don't like what's going on, stay in your house. Don't come outside. Don't come out to make things complicated. But to each his own. I just want everybody to be safe this crop over. Come out and enjoy the music, and most of all, pay full attention and obey all the protocols. We ain't bypass anything, because we don't want to go back to that stage again where we don't know what to do.
It is so correct, but we do know what to do, Hyper, and that's to make sure to come out, enjoy your music. There's a new single, enjoy all the other artists. You mentioned that it was Jaguar that was on the rhythm with you?
Yeah, on the Barbados rhythm is Jaguar and Mole. And all three songs, and myself, all three songs is doing great at the moment on all digital platforms, and the guys, big up to the DJs, man. I mean, I might be the first to say it, but people that say that the artists bring the music and the DJs ain't playing it, whoever have that, dump that. Keep that back in some other year. Big up to the DJs out there playing
especially
all
the ones
music.
here at CBC.
Yeah, of course. All in the party, you're hearing the new music. It's just for the fans now and the people know to just, appreciate it, because you guys gonna play, but if you guys ain't really appreciate it, you know how that thing gonna go.
Okay, I want to thank you so much for being my guest this morning, Hyper Sounds for Fresh Friday, and we're out. Have a fantastic Friday. Happy Mother's Day to all mothers out there. I'm Wendy Burke. Just enjoy your day.
Hyper Sounds. Music. If you're looking for some place to get away, welcome to paradise. Barbados, so nice. Whether you're drinking rum or a pack of Kool-Aid, welcome to paradise. Barbados, so nice. Man, this thing so sweet, no others can compete. That is my island. Barbados, so nice. We got the best beaches, girl with them peaches down in my island. Barbados, so nice. Have you ever been to some place before? You ain't leave yet, but you're craving for more. This place will give you so much good memories, plenty vibes and stories. Watch new friends become family.